What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG Pocket video. So this video is going to be kind of a rant on trading. Trading is now live in the game, and I was one of the people who was saying that, it's good that, we're going to get trading at all within the game, right? Because as far as I know, this is really the only digital card game that has trading in it. So I was pretty optimistic about it, but now that trading is out, it kind of sucks, unfortunately. So the reason it sucks is because it's just really expensive, right? So first off, you have to trade cards of the same rarity, and then in order to trade those cards, you need to use currency, which there are two different currency, which is kind of annoying. If it was just one, that would have been better, or just none at all, right? One currency is the trade stamina, as I pull up the game on my phone here, checking it out. So one currency is the trade stamina, which, I mean, I guess that's fine, right? You don't want people to be trading just all the time, nonstop, right? That kind of prevents people from just getting all the cards right away. So I guess trade stamina makes sense, but the trade tokens, that's the real problem with this game right now, is the trade tokens. Because so far, the only way to get trade tokens in the game right now is to have duplicate copies of another card and exchange those duplicate copies in order to get trade tokens. So now further down the road, maybe they will make trade tokens more accessible. Maybe they will make it to where we can get them for free by logging in or doing missions, who knows. But as of right now in the game, the only way to get these trade tokens is to exchange duplicate cards, which just makes no sense, really, right? And while I'm talking about this, I'm gonna have some video footage here from a trade I did do with one of my friends, so you can kind of see the perspective between both players. But it does kind of suck that both players need trade tokens in order to trade. So I was looking for a Vileplume, right, which is just a 3-star card. My friend needed a Mewtwo, which is equal rarity, 3-star card. And we both needed 120 trade tokens in order to trade these cards. So we had to break down some additional cards just to trade them, right? And it's just, it really just doesn't make a lot of sense when you do the math, right? Like if you're trading one EX Pokemon, which is a 4-diamond card, for another EX Pokemon, you have to trade 4 extra copies of that EX Pokemon just to trade a single copy. Like it doesn't really make sense, right? Like the math isn't mathing there. 4 extra copies to break down just in order to trade one EX Pokemon. Just, it doesn't really make sense to me. So yeah, as it stands right now, trading just kind of sucks, unfortunately. It really just doesn't make sense as to who this trading system is for, because if you take a look at free-to-play players, they are not going to want to break down extra copies of cards, right? Because they probably don't have a lot of extra copies in the first place. So trading is not going to be very accessible to them. Now, yes, you can trade some of the lower rarity cards, like the 1-star diamond or the 1-diamond cards, for free, right? But those cards are so easy to obtain that, they're probably going to have a bunch of extra copies of those to where they don't really need to trade. I mean, maybe there'll be some niche scenarios where there's one person who just can't, for some reason, pull this very, very common card, and in that case, they can trade for it for free. Okay, that's fine, right? But for free-to-play players, if they're wanting to trade for an EX Pokemon that they're missing, for example, they're gonna have to have 4 extra copies, essentially, of another EX Pokemon in order to trade for a single EX Pokemon. And notice that I said 4 extra copies, right? Because you want 2 copies of at least every card in the game, because you can run 2 copies of a card in your deck. So it just doesn't really make a lot of sense for free-to-play players. And then it doesn't make sense for the whales either, the people who are spending a ton of money on the game, right? Because you can only trade up to 1-star cards, which are going to be like your full art cards. So people who have like a ton of extra rare cards, like crown rares, or like the immersive arts, right? Like you're not going to be able to trade those. So what do you do with those? You can break them down into those special shop tickets, but as of right now, the only things you can get with those special shop tickets are the special coin, the playmat, and the card sleeves, and I think it's like a binder as well, right? So there's not a whole lot to do with those extra rare cards that you might have extra copies of. Like, it happened to me, right? Like, I was missing a Vileplume for the longest time, and then I had like 4 or 5 copies of Immersive Mewtwo. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do with these, right? I wish I could trade them to someone who actually needs them instead of just like breaking them down, right? And then there's the people who are kind of in between, which I would consider myself in between. I'm not a free-to-play, but I'm not a whale. I've spent maybe $100 on the game, maybe less. I would say about $100 if I had to estimate. So someone like me, I've spent a decent amount of money, and I now have every card in the game, so I don't really need to trade for any extra cards at this point. The only other cards I would need or want necessarily would be just full art cards, right? And I don't want to have to break down a bunch of my extra full art cards just to trade for one copy. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. And what might be the biggest downside of all within trading is that there is no way to communicate within the game as to what card you're looking for and what card you're trying to get back, right? Like, I had to coordinate with my friend over Discord. So really, if you want to coordinate with someone and trade with someone, you're going to have to go outside of the game, essentially, whether it's on Discord or maybe just in real life, maybe your real life friend, right? Like, hey, I got this card, let's trade for this card. There's no way to communicate that in the actual game, right? Like, we have these binders in real life. Trading card games, trade binders are a thing, right? Like, you go to your local game store, you have a binder with cards you want to trade, and then you trade cards, right? That's all you do. But we literally have binders in this game, and they're not implemented into the trade system, which just seems like a huge misstep. So yeah, I just feel I was wrong. This sucks. I was very optimistic about trading at first, but yeah, this sucks. This is bad. I really hope they improve on this in the future. I know they said they were looking to improve on this and take some feedback, so let them know how you feel about this system, because where it stands, I do not like this system. I mean, really the only kind of explanation that I could find for this is just that it's just greed, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Unfortunately, that's the only explanation I could come up with for this, is that it's just greed. They want you to spend more money on the game, that way you have extra copies of cards, break down the cards. But I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. So that's kind of my rant on trading as of right now. Hopefully it does get better and they improve upon this feature in the future. I think as of right now, I don't even really want to spend money on the game after this. Like, I'm still going to play the new set, right? I'm going to play the new cards, but I mean, I guess I'll still get the premium pass, because I think the premium pass is still worth it, right? That's still pretty good value, but I don't know if I'll spend any additional money after this. It just kind of feels wrong in my opinion. But anyways, I guess that's enough yapping for me. If you do want to trade, if there are some cards you're missing and you do want to trade, you can go ahead and join my Discord if you want. The link for it will be down in the description below if you want to coordinate trades with myself or somebody else. And then the new expansion should be dropping tomorrow, so that is very exciting. I am definitely going to have a bunch of new videos once that drops, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And I am looking to stream as well. I'm not sure when I'm going to stream, but I do want to stream this weekend, at least once or twice. That's going to be kind of my goal every week, is to maybe just stream for a couple hours once or twice every weekend. So stay tuned for some more videos. Stay tuned for another stream, and let me know what you guys think about trading. Do you guys hate it? Has it been useful for you? I mean, on one hand, I was kind of glad that I was able to get the Vileplume that I was missing for so long. So I think in that very niche scenario, it was just one card I was missing to complete the set, right? I think it was good in that very niche scenario. But after this, I don't know if I'm going to ever use trading again unless they somehow make it better, right? And you can't even trade cards from the new set as well, so you can only trade cards from Genetic Apex and Mythical Island right now, which are just the first 2 sets. You're not going to be able to trade new cards from Space Time SmackDown, which is the newest set coming out tomorrow. So that is another downside to it. Anyways, all right, I've been going way too long. This was a too long of a rant video. Anyways, let me know what you think about trading down below. I'll see you all in the next one later.